lockpicking is one of those skill sets that once you learn it and once you get a pretty good skill in it, that it can be useful for a very long period of time as long as you kind of keep your hand into it. You know, it's surprising how much once you learn how to pick locks, how often you'll do it if you carry your picks with you on a regular basis. You know, somebody forgot their keys, can't get in their house, you need to get into a gate and nobody can find the key or the guy with the key's not there. So especially here in Texas where you got country roads and farms where people lock their gates and leave their keys back in town or something like that. But you know, there's different types of lock picking and you know, as far as entry into places, lock picking should be one of the last things that you learn. One of the last things you concentrate on. You know, you would look at a place and you go, what other means can I use to get in there? So you would look at windows and doors and other methods of ingress. And as far as getting into places, you know, social engineering is really the best way to get into a place. You know, just talking your way into a place is really always easier. It's always easier to defeat the human element than it is to defeat the electronic or security element. So, you know, that would be the first thing you would look at, is just developing your social engineering skills so that people just willingly let you into the place. And then you would look at more surreptitious entry, which again would include things like windows and doors and pass keys and cards and things like that, that would allow you to get in there without any type of need to defeat a lock. And then really kind of boils down to lock picking as last. And if you get the skill, you can generally kneel down pretty quick, and you get to where you can defeat, say, 80% of the locks you're going to run across, and you can do that fairly quickly. But the 20%, you have to have other methods, right? So you can do things like you can do bump keys. The bump keys are pretty loud. You can do lock pick guns, but they're even louder than bump keys. You know, so there are other methods besides lock picking, and once you kind of get into the field of picking locks and surreptitious entry, you'll kind of run across all those different methods. And so just picking the lock is a start, but really getting into a facility that is locked down for some reason or secure for some reason and doesn't want you to be in there, that takes it's actually a huge field. And there are people who specialize in that, specialize in penetration testing. So pen testing is a field where people would, there's physical pen testing where guys test the security of a facility and try and get in, and then they're hired by that facility, and then they try and get in, and then they write a report, what they found, strengths and weaknesses. They write the report and turn that into the company. That way the company can use that as a method of being able to determine their needs and their security. And then people do it for electronic security on their computers and all that sort of stuff. So do I think it's something worth investing time in? Yeah, I think so. I think it's a useful skill. I mean, it's not necessarily the top of my list, but the great thing about lockpicking is once you understand how the mechanisms work, you can literally sit around and watch TV and pick locks, and just pop one lock and then get another one, and pop one lock and get another one, and just subconsciously do it while you're watching your favorite TV shows or whatever. And then you kind of get into different things. You find you have 2 or 3 locks that you like to get that you can do fairly well. Then you'll have 1 or 2 that are kind of challenging. Then you have that one possible lock that is really challenging for you, that you kind of hold in your hand until it's about ready to melt from the heat of your palm. But that makes it a lot of fun, makes it a lot of challenging. So if you like a challenge, if you want to get into something like that, I think it's a fun game. They have sports all over the world where lock sport, where you pick locks for sport and race against other guys who are also picking locks. So yeah, I think it's a lot of fun.